activist investors are on to Intel. Can IBM be far behind? Activist investor Loeb's company, Third Point LLC, notified the CEO of Intel, Omar Ishrak, that they had taken a significant stake in the company. They went on, Loeb went on to say that they wanted to see some big changes, as Scott DeVoe and Ian King wrote for Bloomberg recently. What caught my eye was Third Point's summary judgment about Intel's performance as a public company over the last several years for its shareholders. Quote, Loeb said the company has dramatically underperformed its peers in the past 5 years, including losing more than $60 billion in market value this year alone. Ouch. And what was the ramification of that ouch? The CEO, Bob Swan, was replaced. Such is the power of activist investors, where a board is already probably curious as to what's going on with the performance of the business. Anyone who has followed Intel over the last few years and sat through what can only be called management's 40 days and 40 nights wandering through the desert, otherwise known as innovation, has to breathe a sigh of relief. Wall Street liked the action, pushing up the stock price by an approximate 5% on the day the news broke of Loeb's Third Point's position in Intel, which was Tuesday, December 29, 2020. Whether it was Intel's investment in Basis, the fitness watch business, or Cloudera, the, quote, you tell me what they do, end of quote, open source business, or Nirvana and a couple of other AI businesses, or Intel's disregard as the rest of the semiconductor industry was moving towards 7mm fab, Intel has appeared to thumb its nose at reality. Good for Dan Loeb and Third Point LLC, and good for Intel investors. Dan, here's a tip for you. Once you've got the work going on Intel, build a beachhead at IBM. One can only think IBM has got to be on Dan Loeb's list, or maybe Carl Icahn's list, of tantalizing next opportunities. Eric Savitz's story for Barron's on yet another year IBM let its shareholders come up high and dry zeroes in on merely the latest year of poor performance. Anyone following IBM over the last decade can point to perhaps as many as 8 other years past, matching the poor performance reported in 2020. Ginny Rometty, IBM's CEO over most of those years, she is now simply a consultant with a bill rate of $20,000 per day should she be needed by the business, claimed way back when, in perhaps 2012, IBM was facing a magnitude higher than average challenge to shift its culture. Ms. Rometty's sturm and angst at IBMers behind the times behaviors, as reported in the screen just shown by Monica Langley in a story for the Wall Street Journal, was made into press nearly 6 years ago, in April 2015. IBM investors should have been exhaling a collective "huh?" for some time by now, as Big Blue continues to futz around doing what amounts to nothing about changing into the kind of business capable of capitalizing on a rich legacy of having provided, quote, mission-critical, end of quote, products and services for literally every Fortune 100 business via the IBM mainframe product line and large government organizations since at least the early 1980s. If Intel is being called onto the carpet, IBM can't and shouldn't be far behind. My name is Ira Michael Blonder. I'm the CEO and founder of IMB Enterprises, Inc. My company is a management advisory firm. We work with C-suite at enterprise software businesses, helping executives who are, for one reason or another, engineering heavy and marketing and sales light, find their way through to successful revenue creation. I'm also an investor, and with a keen interest and a past history of having worked closely with IBM from 1994 to 2001. And I placed, at the time I was in the consulting business, and I placed the original HTML coders and pearlscripters@ibm.com. If you have a notion and you'd like to talk about it, free calls with me short calls rather, are always free. You can reach me at 631-673-2929 in the United States. Please also check out our blog, https://www.imbeenterprises.com/blog, and or my personal Twitter page, @MikeTheBebop. Speak with you tomorrow.